Hello and welcome to the Irish Independence League of Ireland preview show, joined today by Aidan Fitzmaurice to look ahead to a full round of fixtures this weekend. Aidan, usually on these preview shows there's a couple of different places we could start. I must say there is only one place to start this weekend, the big derby, Shamrock Rovers against Bohemians. I know we often say on these shows there seems to be a Dublin derby every week or every second week, but there is really nothing like this game, the biggest game in the Premier Division, the champions against their bitter rivals. It's funny just looking at this game because the two teams would have had different start of the seasons. Bohs kind of came out of the blocks fire and went on that really good run not too long ago, but their form has tailed off, no wins in 5. Shamrock Rovers have, as we've become accustomed to at this stage, typically slow starters, takes them a while, a couple of weeks. Stephen Bradley saying they usually hit their stride April, May, and of course when there's so many games in the April-May period, that is often where the league is won. And Rovers the last couple of weeks are flying is probably too strong a word. They're just kind of doing okay. There still feels like there's a couple of gears to go, but I think the one word around the league this week, the last couple of weeks, is ominous, and there's just a feeling that it's only a matter of time now before they go on a big run.
I think they will, and I'm not saying they're going to have it won by the summer break, but there's a good chance, simply because everybody else is stuttering. Nobody else looks like they're going to put up a challenge to Shamrock Rovers. The two form teams at the moment are probably Galway United and Dundalk, who I think between us all in the Irish Independent team, we tipped one or both of them for relegation. It just looks like Shamrock Rovers just to have the squad. It may change in the summer. I think we mentioned last week, and do they get to keep hold of Michael Noonan? But the options they have, Rory Gaffney, we haven't really seen him yet. Bohs and the other teams are just wasting their opportunities. Bohs had, particularly last week, I think at the end of last week, Bohs had 2 home games against the bottom 2 teams, Waterford and Sligo Rovers. Without being disrespectful to the opposition, if you're Bohemians and you're thinking of improving in last year, that has to be 6 points. They to come from behind to get a point at home to Waterford, and were well beaten by Sligo. Sligo were immense. I was there last Friday. Sligo were fully deserving of the win. Bohs, the fear is that Bohs have, in a way, if you look at the stats, some ways it's not long. They have not very high possession rates, an awful lot of very good build-up play, a lot of very good attacking players, just lacking confidence in front of goal, lacking a clinical edge. Stephen O'Donnell said before the Sligo game they need to be more clinical in front of goal. They're not even getting chances. The build-up all comes when it gets into the box, gets into the final area. They just can't pull the trigger. Goalkeeper. It's not like you're coming away from a Bohs game where Enda Minogue or whatever goalkeeper has made 8, 10, 12 saves. They're not making those saves, and that will be the concern. The other side of that is derbies, as we often know, it turns on its head. This time last year when Bohs went to Dala, were losing and they turned around. Rhys Brennan, unlikely hero. Bohs are probably looking for something similar from this one. So, but if you're Shamrock Rovers coming into this, you're feeling pretty confident.
The goals are a big concern for Bohemians, like 4 draws in a row, and then that defeat to Sligo where they did kind of throw the kitchen sink out of the last 20 minutes, but they just had no response. Throwing
goals from
Patrick,
and the backup plan is to put Patrick Hickey from defence up front. Douglas James Taylor still coming back from injury. He got some minutes last week. I don't think he's going to be fit to start. He's a huge loss for them. So possibly when they get James Taylor back fully fit, but just they look like a team very low on confidence at the moment in terms of scoring goals.
I think Tala set to be absolutely packed. I think 8,500 tickets sold so far. It's a real big chance for Shamrock Rovers just to kick on after the run they've been on. I think they're unbeaten in 7 or 8 games. A couple of wins along the way.
Clean sheets as well, though.
Clean sheets too are absolutely crucial. Ed McGinty in goal. That win over St. Pat's last week, they still felt like they had another gear or two to go, only getting the 1 goal. Jack Byrne deflected, but they were comfortable. Like St. Pat's did throw a lot at them, but they really, I think bar one big McGinty save, didn't have a lot of answers for them. But I think the main thing with Shamrock Rovers is just their squad depth is absolutely scary. I remember there was a game a couple of weeks ago, 60 a minute, they bring on Jack Byrne, Graham Burke and Michael Noonan, like 2 former Ireland internationals and probably the hottest striking prospect in the league, one of them anyway. The squad depth is amazing. I know they have a couple of injuries, still a few lads to come back, but just this April-May period is the busiest, and Stephen Bradley would be absolutely delighted that they're just going along nicely, not smashing teams away.
Doing enough at the moment.
Just enough.
They're doing enough to get the points, and that is the worry for the rest of the league. That when they get Rory Gaffney is a huge figure for them. So when Gaffney is back fully fit, that to me brings Shamrock Rovers up to another level. Danny Mandrew, he's been out since last season. We don't know when he'll be back. It hasn't been a date set. When he is fit again, that's another player to add in. There may be changes in the summer, as we said, in Noonan. Whether Noonan stays or not, we don't know. But yeah, that's, I suppose, speaking to different people, they just, everybody else is sitting back looking at Shamrock Rovers with all they have, with the potential now to really pull away, because I don't think anybody else is able to sustain a challenge. Bows, no wins in 5. St. Pat's 2 games in a row now without a goal. I think Max Mata had an injury last weekend. There's going to be question marks about them. And Derry just going from crisis to crisis every week.
Bow's record in this derby actually was pretty good. I think 3 wins out of 4 last year, but the feeling is the odds are really with Shamrock Rovers for this one. Aidan, just moving on to the second game, Shelbourne against Derry City. 2 teams probably lacking a little bit of confidence, looking to get back to winning ways in this one. But I think Shelbourne will want to get back into good form, obviously. But the mood music around Derry is much more downbeat. A lot of fans very unhappy. Coming into pre-season, they were talked about title contenders, the team to really push Shamrock Rovers. Philip O'Doherty, their main backer, the chairman, said as much publicly, went on the record and said that it has to be the league this year, and instead of looking towards the top 2-3, they're looking over their shoulder and they're looking at the likes of, you know, Drogheda, Sligo, Waterford just beneath them in the table. So it's a astonishing start to the season for them. But I think the main thing is Derry are easy to play against at the moment. No team comes up against Derry and really fears them. We saw Dundalk get a result against them as well not too long ago. They are really struggling for confidence at the moment, and there's question marks over the team, the selection, the motivation. The couple of players really looking like they're not enjoying their football at the moment.
I don't think it's gone right. And you look at last week, James McLean coming off the bench. Again, a lot put into the start of the season of signing the 2 McLeans, what that package would bring. They obviously had to invest to bring James home from England. They paid a fee to bring Patrick from Sligo Rovers, don't forget, so that was a big investment. And Patrick is obviously injured at the moment. He may be back this weekend. James will be suspended. Just nothing is going right for Derry. They're leaking goals. They're badly missing Brian Maher. I think they're really missing Mark Connolly. I know Mark probably, his last season at Derry wasn't the force that he had been, but that commanding presence at the back. You're right, Derry are too easy to play against. They're too easy to open up. Badly missing. I think Michael Duffy carried them. The few points they did pick up early in the season, they're missing Michael Duffy again. I think it's going to be a bad spell for Derry City. One word that struck me, you said ominous in relation to Shamrock Rovers. I was listening to somebody from Derry this week saying the sentence apathy among the support, and that would worry me. You'd expect anger because they promised all this, they expected this, the team aren't doing well. Anger can work. Great Johnny Lydon song, anger is an energy. That can drive you, and maybe players prove a point to the supporters and everyone gets back in on the same imagery. People are apathetic already this season, and again, Derry, they're losing home advantage because they're moving out of the Brandywell, moving into Celtic Park. I think Derry are in for a rough couple of weeks, and whether Tiernan Lynch can survive, there's very little. I don't think there's going to be much patience among the support for Tiernan Lynch to stay on as manager. The board will decide that, but it's not looking good for him.
We can only speculate, but you just wonder how long can this go on for, because for the last few weeks, like, the main concern for me is just for the last couple of weeks we've heard the same thing from Tiernan Lynch after every single match. The boys are hurting, there's no quick fix, we have to turn this around, but there's nothing new. Like, you can almost look back in the LOI TV interviews the last couple of weeks and it's probably the same old story.
That's what I think the apathy comes from, that if you can lose, and teams have often had to do it, teams have had to come back from a position to achieve their targets, whether that's avoid relegation, make Europe or win the league. Teams have all had to do that. Shamrock Rovers, as you said, traditional slow starters, they have to deal with that and the pressure that comes on when their fans see them dropping points, knowing that they will come good when the season heats up. Derry, just nothing is looking right at the moment. They're badly missing Brian Maher. I think they're missing a real leadership figure in someone like Mark Connolly. I don't see any leaders there in that Derry team. It just looks like a patched up squad that was just thrown together, a bit like a bad Chelsea team where just all these players picked from all sorts of different areas just thrown in together. And whether and that will concern me as well. If I'm a Derry City fan, Brandywell should be home advantage. They're not going to be in the Brandywell for the next couple of weeks. They're playing away from home, even though they're a couple of 100 yards up the road on the Longmoor Road.
Aidan, just a quick word on Shelbourne. Probably a little bit disappointed with their start of the season. I know they started probably okay, but coming into this, I think back-to-back defeats to Dundalk and Shamrock Rovers. the injuries, obviously, we've mentioned a couple of times here, Oran Casey, Paddy Barrett, big losses. But Jerry O'Brien's making no excuses for that at all, not using it as an excuse. But the main thing for me would just be the lack of end product up front. Like John Martin has got 2 or 3 goals. Meepo's been out with injury. Sean Boyd has been out recently with illness, has yet to score this season. Rodrigo Freitas, a lot was made of him, Portuguese signing. He's yet to get off the mark. Just for me, and the squad will know this, you can't rely on the likes of Harry Wood to get you out of a hole. Ali Coote, maybe Will Jarvis is yet to really get going. I know it's taken him a little bit of time to really get up to the speed of things.
They're also giving up cheap goals a lot from set pieces, and that's what annoys Joey O'Brien as a former defender. And when you speak to him after the game, when he does media, the annoyance of those soft goals. It's not like teams are taking an unbelievable player taking your part in midfield, and it's very, very basic stuff that's hurting Shelbourne. Injuries have hurt him. Paddy Barrett, it looks like he's on his way back. Chapman, I think, got some minutes in the Leicester Senior Cup during the week. When they come back in, you're still missing Casey, you're still missing Meepo. That's a squad just does look that little bit light. And Freitas, I mean, I get good predictions, I make bad ones. I pick him out as my player to watch this season. He hasn't scored yet, and he's hardly.
You haven't had a chance to watch him much at all.
No, he's getting 20 minutes here and there. He hasn't done it, so I obviously got that one wrong. I just thought he was a player who could bring them to another level, but. Yeah, I think Shelbourne, they just need the medical team. They need to get Paddy Barrett back. They need to get Oran Casey back.
Another Dublin team struggling for goals in the last game or two. St. Pat's concerns over, you mentioned before, Max Mata, Aidan Keena, Ramal Palmer as well. We'll have to wait and see what the injury news is there. A massive loss for them coming off against Dundalk. Their way to Drogheda, their form is absolutely nosedive since the start of the season. I think opening the season with 2 wins out 2, and now they're winless in 8. So 2 teams looking to get back to winning ways. The St. Pat's form in Drogheda actually wasn't too bad last year. I think there was a couple of draws, a couple of games they would have wanted to take wins away from. It's kind of hard to call this one because St. Pat's are probably a little bit low in confidence, hurting. They were on a really good run of form. I think 6 wins out of 7. It's been a tough last week or two, but I think for Kevin Doherty, he just has to find something from somewhere, because this April, May being so busy, you can really quickly find yourself in a really tough.
I think this is where Drogheda look to see can they get something back in the battle. And again, speaking to some Pat's people, the word that you hear sometimes is they're too soft, they're too nice. That there isn't that fight, there isn't that drive in them. They've had a lot of injuries, been weakened in midfield. So, Chris Forrester is back, Jamie Lennon has come back. That will add to the midfield. If they do lose Palmer, I think Palmer's a huge player for them. But some Pats, they just make it too easy for teams, particularly at home. They just give up too many points. They just make it too easy for teams. And if this is if Kevin Drogheda United do need a reboot, they've had a rough couple of weeks. It's been a difficult season for them off the pitch.
On and off the pitch.
The flair industry, the ownership, Joanna Byrne. That causes distractions. That's not why they're dropping points and conceding goals. But I think they were the strong unit last year. I said before, built out from Denison, that out through Keeley into Ryan Brennan or whoever. They built that spine of the team into midfield. Just that's been broken down now. They don't have. Used to have to work hard to get a goal against Drogheda United. They're just giving up too many cheap goals at the moment. So I think this one is going to be a little bit different, where I think Kevin Doherty will probably speak to his players more in terms of motivation, in terms of what's at stake here, trying to get back to where they were rather than a tactical battle. If it is a physical battle, can St. Pat stand up to them? I'm not sure.
I should say Drogheda's first game since their game against Waterford got called off last week. Shelbourne and Galway, it's their first game in 2 weeks as well, looking to get back on track after that postponement. The next game, Aidan, Dundalk against Galway. It kind of feels wrong to be coming to Dundalk so late in the preview, just the way the other games are. Really the surprise package, one of the biggest talking points of the season so far. They've been so impressive. I think 2 weeks ago their win against Shelbourne 3-2 was my first time to see them in the flesh this season. I was blown away by them, so impressed. The press, the attack and focus, the link-up play, Declan McDade, Warren, Groom as well, and Arubi is just such a vocal point up front. They seem to just have that nice blend of youth and experience.
I think you have to bear in mind as well that they were going to build this team around Conor Cairns, and he was injured now, possibly gone for the season, so they've had to do that. They brought in, I wonder what would they do there. Would they, obviously Peter Cherry was the initial backup, would they bring in another keeper from abroad? A lot of the keepers in the league at the moment are imported, but they're stuck with Enda Minogue, who's been very good. again, I looked at Dundalk pre-season. I just didn't fancy them. I just thought too many players coming up from the first division to struggle. I think the game has moved on 10, 20 years ago. You could do that, be newly promoted, bring players up. So I was wrong when I looked at the likes of Tehan and Groom, in particular Warren. I thought they're not good enough for the Premier Division. They've been brilliant. Dundalk away to Bowes and Data a couple of weeks ago. Groom was the best player in the park. He was magnificent. Ruby is confidence. They have that so much going for them. They've coped with the loss of Minogue. They haven't got Rob Corwin was meant to be a key signing for them. Again, he's been injured. Vinnie Leonard has been injured. They've a lot gone against them, and I really admire the way they've approached games. They haven't gone up there to. They didn't go to Datamint. Didn't go to Tala, park the bus, get a pointer. They play very much in the spirit of their manager Kieran Kilduff. And if we lose, we die with our boots on, but we're going to have a go here. I'm really impressed with the job they've done. And those players have got better. A Ruby, you can just, he has the confidence that maybe the Bow strikers don't have at the moment, or the St. Pat's strikers don't have. And Groom in the middle, I've been so impressed with him.
And the young lads stepping up as well. TJ Malloy, Seán Spate. Speaking of Kieran Clough not too long ago, he said they have been hit with injuries this year, but the young lads have stepped up. And I think the main word for me with Dundalk at the moment is just fearlessness. You think of probably one of the lowest budgets in the league, newly promoted team, going to Shamrock Rovers, coming away with a point, going to Bowes, going to St. Pat's, absolutely fearless.
But it's a happy club as well, contrast with Derry, where the rep war, that the fans aren't happy, Lynch is under pressure, the McLean getting sent off. There's so many issues at Derry not being at home. It just doesn't look like a happy... And Dundalk had a very, very difficult off-season, particularly last year with the ownership. Looked like they weren't even going to be in the league. Would Oriel Park be ready so much? And a lot of that is down to Kieran Kilduff. He's just gone about his business very likely. Recruited really well, scouted players really well. And that bond, I think that bond between Dundalk supporters and team has been tested a lot over the last couple of years because of off-field stuff. If you're a Dundalk fan at the moment, you're going to your match on Friday morning, you feel proud of your
team. You're in
team.
good form anyway.
And a huge credit to that to Kieran Kilduff. I really admire the job he's done. Positivity. A lot of managers can bring negativity and just play for nil all draw. Hope to get away with 1-0 or hope not to pick up injuries. Kilduff has been they're joy to watch. Dundalk, they're great to watch.
Kieran Kilduff deserves a lot of credit for the job so far. He comes up against a manager who's far more experienced than John Caulfield. Them hosting Galway United at Oriel Park this Friday night. We've said it the last couple of weeks, Galway just will be pretty happy with their start to the season so far. I think pre-season, some of the concerns about them, probably a lack of signings, they were short on a few bodies, how's it going to go? But they've probably exceeded expectations a little bit. 3 wins in the last 4. Franz Perot coming in 2 is a big plus.
Very strong at home.
So very strong at home too. So I know they probably have their home form probably is stronger than their away form, but they'll probably fancy their chance against Dundalk. You probably expect a high scoring game in this.
Yeah, and players on form. Chris Farr, and again, credit to a lot of the success of Galway. I mean, again, he is very sorely missed Ollie Horgan, but his nose for players, and that was concern for Galway. How would they replace that? But I think particularly Chris Fardick, who they brought back to the league after he previously played in the league with Sligo and Bohemians. He'd been back in Canada. It's been excellent anytime I've seen them. And again, blooded in. He didn't start the first few games. He's now getting ready to start. Again, the business that John Caulfield has done. It's a small squad. That a little bit concerned about Galway is if a couple of injuries or suspensions, they do have to dig. Then you're going into academy players lost. The leadership that Greg Cunningham would have had for them last year on and off the field, they lost that. But yeah, I mean, this is a game. If you can take away the pressures of everybody else, Bowes trying to get back in, Rovers trying to stretch their lead, St. Pat's trying to get going again, Derry trying to find a way. Everybody else is under pressure. I think if you're Dundalk and Galway, if you're neutral, that's the game. You just sit back and watch that game and enjoy two teams who are high in confidence.
For sure. Aidan, just one game on Saturday, Sligo Rovers hosting Waterford, and 2 teams here who couldn't buy a win, couldn't buy a point for a good few weeks, with both their forms nosediving. And in the last week or two, both have steadied the ship somewhat. I know Sligo Rovers, huge win against Bowes, just to settle things down. I know you were daily man for that game, just to stop the rot pretty much and just get a bit of confidence back. Waterford didn't have a game last week with the postponements, but before that, 2 draws against Shamrock Rovers and Bowes. I think 2 teams who've really steadied it and will look at this game as an opportunity to just kick on and double down. Yeah, and 2 managers under pressure. And again, I try not to read too much into social media chatter, and X in particular is a space for anger and not for reason, but there was that chatter among both sets of sport online in terms of John Daly and John Russell being under pressure, and the more sanguine or the more experienced people say, look, relax, give them a chance, and they've both done that. John Daly, the job they did away to Bowes,
very, very close to getting the win in both of those games. Kevin Long has come back in. I think he's going to have a little bit of what they were missing at the back. Again, a change in goalkeeper because McMullen was injured. Arlo Doherty has been immense for what, you know, and again, that there are things that fall for you sometimes. That's I think Derry have suffered from not having Brian Maher. And Beach, I don't think is a good enough replacement. But when you see McMullen going, experienced player who's away with the Northern Ireland under-21s, when you bring Arlo Doherty, who hasn't had a lot of football, he's come in, he's taken to really well. And Sligo, I just think they'll grow in confidence. I was hugely impressed with them last week. I thought all across the board, McElroy was immense. Ollie Denham was brilliant. Will Fitzgerald is probably the most underrated player in the league. They will take huge confidence from that. A goal, all that was against them, they were away. They had the travel issues on the day. They had to leave 2 or 3 hours earlier than they had to do on the day. They didn't know, had to change the plans for pre-match meal because of the traffic issues. At one stage, John Wilson said after the game where they have to go to Dalymount and just get food there and not even go to a hotel. They managed to get some food into them, but all of that against them, away from home, missing players, missing James McManus. They went to Bowes and won deservedly. It wasn't a smash and grab. They won it deservedly. I think they both come through this. They both had a good week. I know Waterford didn't have a game, but Sligo drawing with Shamrock, drawing with Derry City and beating Bohemians away. They've had a good week.
Sligo with a few bodies to come back, like Jada Kiki and others. Who they'll hope can make an impact on Saturday night. But Aidan, for now, thanks for that. We'll be across all the latest build up to this weekend's League of Ireland action, and we'll be back with our reaction video following Friday night's games here on the Irish Independent. Thanks for watching.